Well, we're here on Moments with our deck, or on my deck again. This is Jennifer Meeker, my assistant, who's going to help me with Campfire 101. What do you have to say there?
Hey y'all, we're out here in rural Indiana, and did you see the corn? It's coming up because it's August and it's about time to harvest.
So my goal today is to try and teach you a little bit. This is going to be a multiple part series on how to make a campfire and maintain it, and then eventually sustain it, and then make it so it stays hot enough so the next morning you can start a fire with it. And one of the first things you need is air, fuel, and heat. And one of the things many people like to do is they like to grab this bark that's been sitting on the ground and they go, hey, let's throw this in the campfire, and they can't figure out why it doesn't burn. It's called moisture. And where does moisture come from, Jen?
Comes from rain.
That's right. So a lot of times people will pick up branches and they'll pick them off the ground. This one I got from the tree, which it's dry.
You hear that?
That's dry. And you can't take a big log and set it on fire. You have to start off small. So what I'm going to attempt to do here is I'm going to flip the camera and we'll see how this goes. We're going to try and demonstrate a fire that's not ventilated very well and everything's packed in, to one that has a lot of ventilation and stuff not packed in. And one of the things we tend to use is good old dryer lint.
From your clothes.
But Jennifer doesn't have any dryer lint because she's a tree hugger and dries everything outside. There's also cotton. But the thing people do is they crumple it up and then they stick it in the fire and they can't figure out why it doesn't burn. It needs
air.
Air. All right, so we're going to flip the camera here. There we go. And we've got our first subject here, and we're going to use matches. And what Jennifer's going to do is she's going to take and cram that full of some dryer lint and some other things. And we're probably going to see it's not going to burn very well. And part of the problem is, boy, that's got some hair in it. Someone in this house must have some long hair. Anyways, so a lot of people will just cram it in there, and we've just got some tiny little holes on this one. And I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to find out. And when she takes a match to it, diamond matches. Yeah, let's do a PR for them. Why not? And the goal again is to teach you how to start a campfire. Oh. And one of the things that got me going on this was Jennifer. I taught her how to maintain a campfire. And she's going to light this without burning her hand too bad. So the lint's going, but it's a lot of people try to do is they try to take a big stick like this and they stick it in there and they can't figure out why it doesn't burn. Well, the reason is because it's way too big and it's probably not dry. Fortunately, we have a fire extinguisher and water here on standby in case we set our deck on fire.
It's going.
It's going, but you can see it's just suffocating. It can't get enough air to it. And that's the biggest problem people do is they try to start a campfire and cram a bunch of stuff in there and it's wet, but they don't understand, hey, Connie's watching. Uh-oh. We're going to set the house on fire while Mom's watching. Anyways, we're going to show you here that just doesn't work very well. And the smoke, that's the biggest problem with a campfire, is when you have a lot of smoke coming from it, it means you're not getting enough fuel and enough air to it.
And y'all, you know that we all need to not be coughing right now into that air.
So we're going to go over to this one, which we're going to probably use this one right here with the bigger holes in it. And hopefully, we're going to demonstrate, whoo, boy, we're going to have to smother that one. There we go.
Deprive it of air. So these have more holes in it. We've got our tinder.
But the goal is, when you're making a campfire, you want to have lots of air and rocks around it. And the rocks generate heat. And the heat's what keeps you warm when it's not getting chilly, which is kind of a little chilly today. So when I was at Camp Eberhart, they used to give us one match, and we had one match. We had to use a bunch of dry grass and some other stuff to use it with. Couldn't use any paper, couldn't use dryer lint. Problem with dryer lint, though, is it tends to get compacted and tends to smolder and not burn very well. So we're going to see how well this does. One of the things I like to do is use shredded paper, but even shredded paper tends to compact and doesn't have much air or breathe very well. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your fire going, and then once the fire gets going a little bit, you put some dry twigs on top of it. And one of the biggest things people is they start with too big of
It's too big of sticks.
Too big of sticks, that's right. So we're gonna try this couple of these little ones here. We've got a pile over here. And again, not sure how well this is gonna go, but we're gonna give it a shot.
See these sizes?
That's way too big.
Oh.
Yeah. And then a lot of times people will blow on a fire, and that can's gonna start getting hot, Jen.
I know.
And it's starting to catch on fire there. And that's what we want, but the smaller the better. So even if you got a bunch of old matchsticks around, that'll really help as well. But biggest goal,
Yeah.
and this is what you call proper planning, which we probably didn't plan this as good. But the
We
next
need
time,
tongs.
we'll be doing this outside. So let me switch back around here. And again, for those of you that are just joining us, these are moments from my deck where we're going to talk in several parts about how to start a fire, campfire, how to keep it going, and then how to keep an ember base so good that the next morning all you got to do is stick some sticks in there and you can fry your eggs at the campfire. But again, you need air, fuel, and heat. And my little demonstration of the cans didn't work so well, but we're going to use a real campfire next time. And we're going to talk about the wood. But remember, when you're building a campfire, don't go and get stuff off the ground. Everyone goes for stuff on the ground. I always have a set of loppers with me, and I go around the trees and find the dead branches and lop them and break them down. We call it tinder gathering. So
Tinder.
Tinder.
Tinder is very important.
Not timber, but tinder.
Tinder.
And next time we'll talk about how a gray log is much better than a light colored log, because a gray log means what?
That it's more dry.
That's right, it's been cured. So again, these are moments from my deck. I should say my wife's deck, because she built it. Right, Connie? And Jennifer from Jennifer Meeker Art. Thanking you for watching. Again, get off of social media, do something different, get outside. We are. Bye-bye.
Peace.